Hey guys, Gotham Geek here with episode 16 of Otakus and Geeks. Today is a special day. It's Ladies Edition. I'm joined by Ashley and Lenora, fellow ONG writers, and we have special guests Tamika, Red Infamy, and Fantastic Frankey. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Hey. You want to introduce yourselves? Tell a little bit about what you do.
Oh, first, it's a double Dutch. Like you gotta. I'll go first. Tamika Moultrie, but better known as Red Infamy in these geek streets. Your master geektress. So basically, I've been covering gaming, geek culture, tech for 10 years now. In the game, do content creation, I stream, I interview creators. And over the years, I was like, you know what? I want to build my own stuff instead of building everyone else's or working with big outlets. So I created Geek Game Tight, which revolves around representing Black, Brown, and Native geeks from all around, the world, and showing that we do exist. We are geeks and otakus up in here, and we are creators and pillars in the industry. So yep, that's my little spiel.
All right, I'll go next. Hey guys, my name is Fantastic Frankey. I am a social media influencer that specializes in connecting content from comic books, anime, anything that could be labeled as geeky, and connecting it to my experience as a Black woman. So it somehow always turns into this huge debate, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy what I call fanboy fighting, where I just try my best to normalize my specific voice, which is that of a Black woman in this space that we're so few and far between.
Ashley and Lenora, you guys want to say a little bit before we get started?
Sure. Well, my name is Lenora. I'm a librarian by day, writer, and book reviewer by night, or by whenever I can fit it in. And my specialty in the library is the adult graphic novel collection, which I've been a librarian almost 15 years now, and it's the largest collection in Nassau County. Some of the most sought after in Nassau and Suffolk County. So I know my stuff. I enjoy it. I love it. And I get to shop for books for a living. It's great.
That's the library I got to check out.
Yes, absolutely.
And hi guys. So my name is Ashley Williams, but most of the people who follow Otakus and Geeks for like forever know me as Anime Angel. So I am co-founder of Otakus and Geeks with Justin. I haven't really been writing a lot because life has just taken over, and now I'm a drama teacher for high school. So I definitely haven't been writing too much about things, but I've been trying to put my ears to the ground. But basically for me, I use the outlet to just talk about what I love in the otakus and the geek community. I'm very much into anime and everything, and I may start talking about a lot more theater stuff because now I'm more delving into that world. But that is me, and I'm happy to be on here with you lovely ladies. It's going to be a great time, so I'm excited.
Woo. All right, let's get started. So we're going to talk about some of our favorite female creators, being a female in the comic geek community and how much geek culture has changed, over-sexualization in cosplay and the comic community, and how females are becoming more involved in the geek community and gaming. So first, let's talk about some of our favorite creators. Any specific artists that you guys like? I know Ashley really big on anime, and anything in particular you guys like, or special artists that you're into?
What type of artist are you saying? Like just a content creator, or
more in the sense of like comic artists, anime artists? Like I'm a huge fan of Joelle Jones and Afuya Richardson. Like they're
I was about to say Afuya.
Always gotta go to their tables.
Yeah, Afuya is bomb. She's one of my favorites. I just love, and it was really dope to see Lovecraft like they did a shout out to her and a nod to her in Lovecraft Country. So that was really dope. But yeah, she's just amazing. Her art style is like through the roof. But there's been some up and coming artists too, like so many, and we get to see them a lot on Instagram too. It's like tons of them. So yeah, but Afro is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, there's this new artist I'm a huge fan of. Her name is Shanice. I think I never know how to say her handles, like Nana Design or something. I actually have her like anime designs all up. But she's really good. She's really good at like the anime type style drawing, and she takes a lot of her fans and turns them into like anime characters. And she does a lot of like gender swapping and gender switching. And I'm just a really big fan. I think she should have way more followers than she does.
Is she the one you put me on with the storm?
No, that was someone else. That's Art of She, but she's also incredible.
I love her.
Yeah. And that's what I love about Instagram is that there's so many beautiful artists that are now in the forefront, and then they get to just directly, you know, get to the audience, show their art, and then the people come to them just like a Fluid. Like I feel like maybe like a year or so ago, she still was putting out this dope art, but she wasn't getting the notoriety that I think she deserved. And I think social media gives her that platform to kind of reach out, and, you know, gives her leverage.
Yeah, social media is, especially this past year without conventions, has been so important for artists to get their work out. So it's important for us to do things like this. Women support women. We need it.
Yes.
That's Steph.
And Ashley and Lenora, how about you girls?
I've been really into Katie O'Neill. She does the T-Dragon Society graphic novels, and it's just so soft and comforting, and it's slice of life, and it's sweet, and it just and in the hellscape that was 2020, partially 2021, it's been a pleasure to revisit such a calm, more warm tone, soft lines. It was very. I love her work. I hunt after it all the time. And well, the woman who's doing the new Candyman. Oh my God, what is her name? DeCosta. She's gonna do the new Candyman movie. She's the director, and that looks
I know
amazing. I checked out every other thing she touched. I'm like, I need to see everything you've ever done. Gotta do. This looks awesome. And again, women supporting women. I'm here for this. I'm so here for it.
So I have a lot on like the voice acting side of things, especially because I love anime and cartoons. One of the things that I really found interesting and that I really become a fan of, I don't know if anybody has heard of the pilot called Has Been Hotel or have seen Hell of a Boss, that series, but Vizzy Pop, she like from the ground up created this like a show that can be on like Adult Swim, like an adult cartoon, and from the ground up, and like it's amazing how like she got all these other voice actors that you probably heard of before, and like she got some people from Broadway to like sing and be part of it, and like this is all from her coming from like her from school, making this into her dream, and then just like slowly building it up, and it's becoming like such a huge fandom. So her stuff is great. I'm getting it back into webtoons. I have so many that I've subscribed to, but one of the ones is Lore Olympus, and it's by Rachel Smith. Hopefully I'm saying her last name right. But her vision of what, like, and I love Greek mythology too, so that's also another reason why I love it. But it tells the story of like how another part of his of mythology about like Hades and Persephone, and how their relationship is, and how the relationship of the other gods around it. And I just love her interpretation of each god, and like her interpretation of like Persephone and Hades, it's particularly. And so I really love her. There's a lot of other like women writers on webtoons as well that are like really great storytellers. And like on the voice acting side, like Laura Bailey, Tara Strong, like their voices are so like versatile and so, and because sometimes I can't even like hear them in certain instances because they're just so well they just do so well in their craft. And I'm probably, my brain is like, you're missing some, and I'm going to roll over it in my sleep because I keep forgetting. And then like and also like acting wise, like movies and stuff as well, like Viola Davis.
Oh yeah, Viola. Yo.
Viola was amazing.
Did she get an Oscar?
So much. I think so.
Yeah, but not for leading actress.
Yeah, a few of them.
For supporting,
right?
Yeah, for supporting.
I think so.
Ashley, the retelling of Persephone and Hades, is that the webtoon where they're gender swapped too?
No, I don't think they're gender swapped. No, they're the same gender. But that's also another interesting.
Yeah, there's a different artist that I can't remember her name, and I thought you were gonna tell me. I was so high. I can't find her.
Oh no! But if I come across it, I'll tell you.
Dope. Yeah, and can you normalize with your Broadway students to get like Broadway on Black Twitter so we can talk to more people about Broadway?
Yeah,
like Hades Town and stuff like that. I think it deserves to be on Black Twitter, and I don't know how to get them on. I don't think I'm young enough.
Actually, that's your forte.
Yes, yeah. I'll do it.
Do it
for sure. No, Hades Town is like a great reminder of like how that is, and like the different interpretations of that world. Like Hamilton, like I mean, Hamilton has been talked about and been dug into the ground like for a few years now, but it's still like amazing, like the representation that Lynn saw and was like, you know what, George Washington's gonna be Black, and who's gonna say like if a historian who's a real jerk may like tell him like, you know, that's kind of wrong, but no one's gonna say that. And like, who's gonna say like wrapping a whole almost 3 hour show is not going to work either. So I want to give more, especially because in the demographic that I have for high schoolers is mostly like predominantly like Black, Hispanic, and so I do want to reach out like more Broadway and more theater to them too, because I think like theater kind of gets a bad rap for being whitewashed, and I mean, to be honest, it is. Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt about that, but I think that, you know, highlighting more directors and more playwrights who are of different cultures. Like I think, I'm probably going to get this wrong, there's a play called, I think, Moonlight, that's by a Black playwright. I forgot her name, but she had like some really astounding actresses in that too. But that's barely talked about now. I mean, there's Aida. That's another show that doesn't really get, like, that was kind of thrown away after a few years. I mean, Once on This Island, I think they're coming back with that. I'm not so sure, but like that's another one that's like has all of these cultures and things in it that we don't really talk about too. And a lot of playwrights are women, and we don't give big ups to them. Or
the director of Hagerstown is a woman, and she was pregnant when they dropped it.
Yes, yeah. And it's just amazing to me that like a lot of our women writers are not being they're not given their flowers in due time. And I think like when they're gone, that's when we're like, oh that was by a woman writer, and it's like, but she was more than that. Like, so I think that like this is important, like having this type of discussion too about like giving flowers to where it's due, and to recognize that, you know, women can be a part of this community as much as the guys can. So
thanks.
That definitely brings me into like the next topic, why I got this group together. These ladies are amazing at what they do, and all of us have been in the geek or gaming community forever. And like things have changed dramatically over the last like 10 years. And now women have more of a voice, and we're not always being like, this is especially why I wanted Frankie on here, because she don't play that. Like she'll like tell a guy off. Like, you're not gonna like correct me on my shit. Like, I know my shit. So like that's why I got this team together. So if you ladies want to talk about some experiences that you had also with Tamika, I found her through a PAX panel that she was on, and it was like Black women in gaming, and like the shit that these ladies go through, it's like insane. So I was like, I have to like meet this girl. Like, so if you ladies want to talk about like some of your experiences that you've gone through over the years.
Yeah, it's literally really hard for me to think of just one isolated image, like incident, because it's everything I say and everything I do is challenged and brought back to whatever knowledge I may have on the subject. Even though they see like my literal job is to read comics and stuff like that, they're still like, have you read anything? Or there's a lot of like passive aggressive work. Right. I was like, yeah, I spent, and that's always my argument too. Like guys, a lot of guys kind of note it to women trying to capitalize off of something they didn't see before. And can't connect it to us always having a love for something and them just not being exposed to the group, things like that. And my rebuttal is always like, why would I choose this to capitalize for male attention? Like of all the things I could do, why would I choose this? I could, especially when I see them say it to cosplayers or lewd cosplayers, I was like, these women could show their ass on the gram to men who will accept it and not challenge them on their knowledge of whatever subject.
They're gonna watch regardless.
They're gonna watch regardless. Why would they also capitalize on this as well? And to be honest, even when I'm having a good time and like agreeing with someone, that knowledge is challenged. So yeah, I guess what I try to do is correct them. I try to release things with polarizing statements that will grab their attention to let them know, like, y'all need to get it right. And my hope is that, you know, very slowly they'll come around and this will become the norm and it becomes normalized. And I'm hoping now that inclusion is starting to be at the forefront, that we can kind of push that mentality away.
Yeah, like everything Frankie just said is the same thing. Like you know, being in a multitude of different sectors and entertainment, mine primarily is gaming, and I've been in the gaming industry for you know, quite some time. And every team I've pretty much worked on, I was the only woman, you know, I was the only female in the group. And my integrity was always challenged, you know, and then they think you're supposed to be a certain way because either how you look, and then it's like, well, how you knew about that? Because I could read and I have eyes and a brain just like you. So like, or even my gaming skills. I'm like, well, I don't see how my ovaries kind of get in the way of.
You still know what the X button is.
Yeah, like
the period changes the way the symbol looks. For us, like if you didn't know that.
Like I didn't understand how that all came about, you know, like so. And it gets funny because even like transitioning into, I guess, what people want to say content creators or whatever, and streaming, and people really thought that they could troll Red, and you can't troll me, like, because I'm gonna troll you back. I will pause the game and sit there and troll you back. Like, I'm from New York, and the rebuttals is on point. Like, you know, I grew up like that. Yep. I grew up on that. So yeah, I always would have that. And just being on different podcasts and being the only female, and when people see the knowledge that I have on games, I've been playing video games since I was 3. I've been around it, and not just looking at it. I literally had an interest to go and read my father's like EGMs and game pros and stuff like that, and wanted to learn more about the game, like who was behind these video games and why did they make them, and why was that story like that, and just reading more into what I actually played. So my curiosity for knowledge is what gathered more knowledge in the gaming industry that I have, you know, all the way up today. And I'm still learning, you know, I'm still learning. And people get like bumfumbled at that. And especially being a Black woman in the space. That's why I love that we get to see more Black women streaming, more Hispanic women streaming, because they think we never existed. And when we started talking about gaming, everybody thought we were unicorns. When we start talking about anime and how Black women have been interested in anime for years, gaming for years. And I just love how it's being shown, because when I started, everybody looking at me like I got this horn on my forehead and I have rainbow hair, some shit like that. I'm like, no, there's tons of other ones that looks just like me that get down in these streets on the analog sticks. You know what I'm saying? So I just love how everything is we're being shown more. And even if we're not shown more on the high platforms, we're able to take control and change the narrative for ourselves.
I love how you said you'll troll them back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like fanboys get like, they become experts of inclusion the minute the spotlight is on them, right? So then any other chance you're gatekeeping, you're being sexist, they're like, whoa, you're being sensitive. And then the minute you direct that energy, just a smidgen of that energy back, it's this huge thing. And all the sight words we've been putting out there, body shaming, gatekeeping, they are so quick to throw that back at you. Like,
yeah, they become the victim role. Then they start wanting to be a victim. Yeah. And it's hilarious. I just laugh.
Then act like they're doing you a favor.
Yeah. Like you're teaching. It's like that Wonder Woman when 1984 came out and everyone was talking about how she raped Steve Trevor. All the guys were talking about how she did that because he was in someone else's body, right? So it was on that. And I was like, all of a sudden, y'all are experts on consent? Exactly. How many Revenge of the Geeks, like how many times, even like in comic books, like, you know, they will never admit that the Joker did anything to Barbara Gordon and the Killing Joke. They'll never admit to like Jean Grey being raped by the Hellfire Club in the beginning of the Phoenix. They'll be like, whoa, what are you talking about? But all of a sudden, Steve Trevor, who gave his consent, like, I don't know.
I call them the minimus. The minimus start coming out.
Like, I cannot wait to use that. Oh my God.
Like Al Bundy back in the, I think I'm the oldest person in this room, which is terrifying. But that was like Al Bundy back in the day, that the He-Man woman haters.
Yes.
No, ma'am. They said no ma'am was his club. They don't sound like them.
Yes, but it's that. But we'll be ready to roast, and that's what I love. What you're saying, I tell people all the time. I was like, I grew up in Jim Jones era. Do not play with me. Do not play with me.
Like, listen, I got the smoke. I will pause the game. You ready?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Is this what you want? Is this what you want? Tell me, please.
You just gave me an idea. I'm gonna take the clip from
right. Yeah, we got a link after this. I was like, a New York gamer, because I don't know much about gaming, but I do love a good scythe, and I will participate.
I got anime on lock. I got gaming on lock. We can have tons of discussions. Like
all day.
I love it. Love it.
Ash, Lenora, how about you?
Oh boy.
That you go through.
Oh my God. Like I said, I think I'm the only person in this room. I really do. For being the only girl in the bygone era of comic book shops, the only girl in the comic book shop. Scrolling through, looking for the issues, and they're like, oh, you want Supergirl. And I went, excuse me, I want we're going through the Apocalypse saga right now. I don't have time for Supergirl. I'm working on the death of Superman. You need to sit down. Go away. It happens. Oh God. And on top of it, I'm a librarian. Already a stigma as to what my interests should and where they lie. So I've been accused of only buying graphic novels that I'm interested in. I get quizzed on what's on the shelf. They're like, oh, well, you're supposed to have volume such and such and such and such. I said that.
Wow.
In 3 months. It doesn't come out for the next 3 months because the individual issues are not out yet. Why? Neckbeard, why are you yelling at me? Leave me
Neckbeard.
Neckbeard.
Because I'm like, you're coming into my house, to my collection, and you're gonna tell me how to run it. No, you're not gonna do that. Like you're literally standing in front of something I've built, and you're going to tell me how I need to build it? Like, you're already here. You're already here, and you're already impressed by it. But you didn't have questions until you realized it wasn't my male colleague with the stormtrooper tattoos who made the collection. It was me. And all of a sudden, it's a quiz for me. Not particularly.
Yeah, that's when you got to embarrass people right there.
And it does. And the only way I found to shut it down is like, no, really, this is my job. My job is to build and maintain this collection. Yes, I know more than you, and you're gonna have to accept that. And not all librarians are stuffy cat
white
eyeglasses.
Yeah, pants up to here, or the long skirts. Like some of us, we have tattoos and we like anime. Like, yes, I bought the anime too. It's over there. And it's frustrating sometimes. And the worst is getting talked down to, because
that's what I gotta violate.
By someone who knows less than you too.
Yeah, and I'm like, you're sitting here telling me about this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, yo, I was born 20 years before you. Where were you? This happened. I watched it happen. I watched the death of Superman. This was my.
I was Lois Lane. I
was there.
You're coming up to me with your 21-year-old self, probably bought a beer for the first time yesterday, gonna tell me about this? No.
Oh, it was the beer.
I just started on TikTok. I just started on TikTok, and I really started as a rant on The Flash, the CW show, because like I don't know why I still watch it, but I can't stop. So I go in this rant and I'm talking about it. And yes, all of these children are out there like, did you even read the comic book? I'm like one, we're talking about this shitty show. And two, I'm like, how old are what? Did you read the comic books?
Yes.
Which one? You reading the new ones with Black Wiley? You don't know the pain. Okay. You don't know the pain of what we had back in the day when we had to read. So I think, to your point, Lenore, like it's the lack of deference from people who don't even know what it feels like to really have an interest in something that, one, wasn't made for you, and two, you had to go out your way to get. Like, you know, they're challenging you on stuff that they can get off their phone, off of Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah,
they never had to wait online with some weirdos to pick up stuff. You know what I'm saying? They never had to play a game and take it out and put it back in after you blew in the carton.
They don't even know how comic book stores smell.
Yes. And I even get it from like new librarians. I get mansplained from new librarians who are lucky enough that now they're going through library school. They're getting their masters. They have a graphic novel course. We didn't have a graphic novel course when I was in library school. I said, well, you have one now. I didn't have one.
And that doesn't validate you.
Right.
Like, you can take whatever course you want. That doesn't validate you and know what you.
Like, I've been here, and the reason why I know so much is because I love this material. I love this format. I love watching anime and watching cartoons. This is my thing. I didn't have a class to teach me that, you know, an Akira first came out that had to condense an 8-volume heavy political commentary into a movie. I didn't know that. I learned that on my own, you know, and it's frustrating. And again, people a lot younger than me. And I'm sorry, I'm only 40. I'm not ready to feel old. I'm not ready.
It could be too that people don't know your age. People always think I'm 22 or something.
Same, girl.
I'm like,
they try to question me. I'm like, I've been going to New York Comic Con since you were like a sperm.
Yeah.
I always tell them I own the Olsen twins perfume. Just to put things in perspective for y'all.
Yeah.
Like
I remember when Chaos Comics was still a thing. Nobody.
Wow.
You remember when you could get New York Comic Con passes the day of? How about
that? Yes. So my dad doesn't go to Comic Con.
How about that?
Anymore.
Do you know Hanley?
Yeah. So my dad doesn't go to Comic Con anymore. He and I used to go every year, and it was our bonding experience. And last year, 2 years ago, actually, was the first time I got free tickets, right? And I was so hyped. I was like, Dad, we're full circle. Like, I'm getting invited. Like, I'm trying to bring him. He said, I can't support that anymore because it used to be $10 for us to roll up the same day. And he was like, I can't go to a place that's exploiting fans. It's $300 for the weekend. That's crazy.
Yeah.
For me to pay you, no, we gonna buy stuff there, and it's like you're taking our money, and then we can't support the artist there. And he's right. Like, Comic-Con in 1995 versus now is totally
It's
different.
a totally different monster.
Comics get smaller and smaller.
Yeah. And then
I
it's
can't
not
even
even
imagine
comic
what the vendors have.
writers anymore. Yeah, the vendors are paying crazy.
Like the poor small artists who want to get a foothold in, they want to sell their books because their web series is.
That's why I'd rather the local stuff.
Yeah, and the table alone probably wipes out any money they made from sales.
Yeah.
And it's all about the movies now. So like when I was younger, it was about meeting, like you can meet anyone there, Stan Lee, whatever, and they'd have their people, and those were the panels. They're talking about, yo, we just dropped Civil War, let's talk about Civil War, da da da. And now it's like, yeah, we're talking about Civil War, but we're talking about the movie, and that's what it's all about. And the vendors are in, you know, you gotta fight a dragon, to go find
them. You remember back when you can get a pass, and the passes every year were different. And I think for 6 or 7 years in a row, they were all Walking Dead.
Still the Walking Dead, and it's trash.
I don't like. Can we stop now? There's other shows out there. You didn't even do a game because that was a big deal.
Well, I read it's whoever gives the most cheese.
Yes, it is. Whoever gives most money.
So and then they buy the passes, and they also buy the passes for them.
And I mean, talking about beating a dead horse with that series, like, can we just let it die?
It's still going. They got a new series.
I've been stopped. It's over for me. It was over at damn near 5th season. It was over for me.
They lost me when they killed that cool they had a lesbian character. She was plus size. She wanted to be a doctor, and I'm like, oh, she's dead. I'm like, you did not just do a kill the gays on me. Did you?
I was like, did you think they were gonna keep her?
Once they introduced new people, I kind of stopped watching because I was like, I don't give a fuck about any of these characters.
It started, so
Ashley, don't start then.
I think
it just got repetitive, like the same shit sort of happened.
Don't do it.
The games are better than the series.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh yeah.
Phenomenal writing, like some of the
best. Clementine is the best human in the planet.
Yeah, I would say play the games. It's better than the damn show.
Right.
Yeah, that's why I stopped watching the show.
I just think about all the good shows that are on the cutting room floor because they give the cheese to The Walking Dead again.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you ever watch Deadly
Class?
Class?
About a lot of stuff.
I'm never gonna get over that. Did you ever watch Deadly Class? It's one of my favorite.
Yes, did they cancel it?
Really?
In sci-fi, it got canceled after one season, and I'm like, they give like other shit chances. It was so frustrating.
Yeah,
so good.
There's a show on Cartoon Network called The Infinity Train that I've seen clips of.
Is it good?
But I've heard that it like seeing the clips of it, it's like it has like it's supposed to be for kids, but it's kind of like in the line with Steven Universe where it has like a lot of like adult themes in it, so adults can really like it too. And they were just like, and they had plans for new seasons, and then they were like, nope, you're done, you're out.
Yeah, they had plans for eight books in total. They canceled it partway
right at the 4th, I think,
because. It's too dark now. And I said, but that's why, and as someone who watches it, I'm like, that's why we're here. We're not, for no offense to the creators, we're not here for 101 Dalmatian Street. This is not why we're here. We're here because the show explores darker themes. We're here because the animation quality is really good because you bothered to spend a dime on it. We're here because the characters are dynamic, it's diverse, and sometimes it's terrifying, and sometimes it's so heartwarming you want to cry. And then you go, I'm gonna cancel this show.
I'm surprised though.
It's too dark, and I'm like, what?
But it's like the same line with like Adventure Time. Adventure Time went to dark places, but that show they continued that series, and that even though that series is done, like they gave that series a chance. So the reason, and like it doesn't make sense to me why some shows get that like 12th season, and then but other shows because it got too dark, it doesn't.
It's whatever theme.
Because they did the same thing with Avatar Korra. Because I remember me and a bunch of my friends were all watching it. We all loved it, and then we're going, wait a minute, isn't it time for the next season? What happened? All we see is advertisements for new SpongeBob, new mainstream stuff, and then we find out like, they're 4 episodes deep into the next season. They didn't advertise it at all.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of that is the fanboys that we're talking about, right? Like I peep that a lot. Like whenever you introduce something different than what they are used to seeing, which is cisgender men like fucking shit up all day and like unapologetically, they recoil and then start to complain in droves that causes that. So whenever there's something, so with Cora, right? Cora, I felt like had way bigger themes. I felt like she went through a lot worse than the Avatar. I think it's an equally good show, and a lot of times I enjoyed it. It wasn't as fun because it's a darker show because she's older. And anytime I mention that, people lose it. They're like, "What? He was so fired! Cora's awful." And I'm like, "Well, what's awful about her? Like, let's really bring that up."
Yeah, the show.
No, she's way less. She's way less
Really?
popular.
People don't like her.
I thought she was popular too.
No, she's way less, and that's why that's why the show
writing
doesn't get as much advertisement and stuff like that because she. But we see it with Black Lightning. That this final season drop, I didn't even know, and the CW emails me, and they email me and be like, "Yo, this is dropping. Don't forget to like say something." They don't pay me, but they'll put out a press release. No press release for Black Lightning, not one.
Like
I watched.
Well, it just stopped this final season.
Man, you gotta water them and feed them, or they're not gonna.
Yeah, it's the same. Even like Craig of the Creek. Craig of the Creek does not get. So it's a cute show. I love that it shows a Black family. It's a shame what we do see in cartoons, what you actually need in order for a Black protagonist in a cartoon to sustain. He has 2 white friends. They did that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm pretty sure it was different in order for it to sustain for everybody so-called to like it. But I love how it's playing, 2 sides of the fence, and it's trying to make sure, his family is being involved. The themes that we have in our culture is still in there. Like the creator of it, he's really dope. But that show does not get a lot of recognition, does not get a lot of advertising at all. No, I don't even think there's merch. I don't even think there's merchandise for Craig of the Creek. And it's been out, I think it's going into its 3rd season, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a fantastic like cartoon. And I love watching it. Like, I'll get my little cereal and everything. Feel like a kid. And the theme is dope, but I don't see it advertised the way Steven Universe and Adventure Time was actually advertised. So
exactly.
That's
same
why
with Amphibia and Owl House.
Yeah, Owl House is getting up there, I think, in popularity. But like that's with the an Asian lead too, which is amazing, and it's with Brenda Song, who was in Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. I think she voices the main character.
She's married to Macaulay Culkin.
She is. They got a baby.
Yeah, good for her. Good for both of them.
So I mean, I'm glad we're getting more diversity out there, but we still got a long way to go to keep them to keep the seasons and to keep them in the forefront. Yeah. Especially with kids nowadays.
I can believe that with Amphibia, like a Thai main character. When's the last time I saw that?
Never. I have a
that was Amphibia. I thought it was Owl House. It was Amphibia.
No, right, Owl House has Luz. She is I don't know if she's Mexican or Puerto Rican or anything, but she's.
I think so. Yeah, I got the 2 mixed up. So my apologies for that.
I have a question since you guys mentioned an Asian lead. So I saw that Henry Golden is the lead for the new G.I. Joe movies. Hey guys, I was disappointed just because like I thought he was gonna avoid having to ever do karate. Like I wanted for him to be a heartthrob forever, or like a drug dealer, or anything that didn't involve computers or karate, for an Asian actor. I went to Japan for a little bit, and when I went, I found out how manly the men were there. And it took me totally by surprise because when I see them here, I never see them like taking charge. I never see them like being assertive.
They have cuties
and
out
stuff
there.
like that. Yeah, they got cuties. I'm tall though. I'm 5'7", so I was taller than all of them. But they got cuties, and then like their voice is super deep. They live their entire life around honor, loyalty, and integrity, and it's like. And then I come
yeah,
here
we
and
forget,
they're like,
we forget the culture. We forget the actual main basis culture of Japanese men.
exactly.
Especially because everything has gotten all kawaii and everything with Japan. Like a lot of people say, you went from samurais to Hello Kitty. Like, so I say, wait,
Dang.
everything has changed. But no, those core concepts are still there. It's just that things get a different perception, even from the anime that we watch. We see a lot of times the timid character protagonist or anything like that, or he getting knocked upside his head by a female. Like, so we, people have that perception, and then when they go, when you go over there, you're like, wait a minute. like it's not like that. All right, dude, okay, looking all strong and everything. He ain't part of the Yakuza or nothing, but so
yeah, people need to watch and read more Way of the House Husband, because that's freaking hilarious.
That's funny. But yeah, people get these perceptions like, okay, he's either a part of the Yakuza. Why he gotta be
exactly.
That's
why I
the
like
same
Way of
even
the
with
House
us.
Husband. It turns that on his head. Like, oh yeah, he's this buff and aggro Yakuza guy about making his wife a cute
happy
for God at home. And take your expectations and subvert them. Make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
If they did that more often.
Yeah. And
that's
that definitely happens to us. The guy who plays Bernard in Westworld, I don't know if we remember. So he's classically trained, Juilliard, the whole nine. You could tell. He was, of course, in Shaft as that Latino guy. Remember the very first Shaft, and he was on the toilet talking to his guy. It was like a very obscene scene. And I just saw him play this gangsta, and I was like, why they got this clearly polished man playing someone from the streets of Compton? And then it dawns on you that yes, they feel like anyone with brown skin can play a gangster, no matter how you sound, no matter your diction, no matter what. They're like, you can be this drug dealer. You know what I mean? No matter, you could be this pimp. This is what you look like, a pimp.
Right. And kind of going back to the question of how you perceive, you're growing up in I grew up in Catholic school almost all my life. And I was the only Black kid in the theater department. So we did the Wiz in high school, and there was only 3 Black kids, me and 2 seniors, and I was a freshman. It worked. It was a beautiful play. We had a great time, but it was just now looking back on it, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is kind of weird.
That's why.
No, this is kind of weird, but I mean, it works, right? So being around that, for me, it was weird. So in the geek community and otaku community, I felt more accepted than I was in my own community. And so I distinctly remember this, and I was a senior in high school. I was talking with some other people in class and everything, and a person said to me, you know what, Ashley, you remind me of an Oreo. And I was like, an Oreo? Wow. So that was the first time I've ever heard that phrase. So I was like, oh, he's calling me a delicious treat. Thank you. Everyone loves Oreos. Yeah, I'm a really good snack. That's what I was thinking. And then, and he continued, and I was like, what do you mean an Oreo? And he's like, well, you are Black, but you act white. And so I was like,
wow.
I got called that a few times too.
So I was like,
yeah.
So, but at the time, being a high schooler, I didn't know. I'm like, I thought that was a compliment, because I'm like, oh, because you're saying I'm sweet, and that's the most popular cookie, duh. But growing up in both the Black community and then in the geek community, I realized oh, I get what he meant, because a lot of people in the Black community look at me like I'm either mixed, or that I'm just weird because how I talk, I use different vocabulary. I how I present myself is not that, but as as people gather the stereotypes and everything like that. And so being in the geek community and that community, it made me feel more comfortable, because well, one, we all spoke the same vocabulary and the same language, and it didn't matter what I sounded like. But then on the other hand, you know, like, and Justin, he really barred me from it because I'm really sensitive. So like if I were to hear something negative, I wouldn't immediately go into my head. But he would tell me, like, when we were first starting up, like we were called the N-words, like we were, you know, talked about like so much. And also too, at the time before we had more female writers on the site, I was the only black girl writing for it too. So it was just kind of, it's, you know, it's kind of like that catch-22 where it's like, some people, like a lot of people are excited because it's a female talking about games and anime and TV shows and like other things and sound very intellectual. And then on the other hand, it's intimidating as hell to a lot of people out there, because it's like, you're not the stereotype that they've been taught all their life. And so like, I grew up like that. Like I grew up like proving people wrong that like, when I'm when I'm at school, I talk differently. That's code switching. But that doesn't define like my character, because like when I'm around people that I'm, you know, I can bond with and I'm like comfortable with, like, of course my vocabulary is going to change. Of course my demeanor is going to change because I'm comfortable. But that's just, we all wear those type of masks every day. So that's nothing different. It doesn't define my skin color. It doesn't define like who I am culturally at all. So I haven't really had like too many bad experiences, but I think it's because I dodged a lot of bullets, and I don't know if that says something about me. I don't know if it says something about like how I was at the right place at the right time. I know like with conventions and everything, like my first convention was in 2009. And Justin and I, this is when we were starting Otakus and Geeks, actually around that time. And I remember there was a lot of odd things happening at our first convention that we were like, oh, this is okay. All right, we'll keep going year after year. But I think this was a year before they done away with the anime part of Comic-Con. And then they just kind of like, we're not going to talk about anime really at all. I think after 2012, that's when they got rid of that part of it.
Yeah.
But like in 2009 and everything, like I didn't have a cosplay on or anything. I had a Kingdom Hearts shirt on, walking around. You know, Justin was there, Sean was there at the time. You know, we were all there and we were just talking and everything. And other guys come up to me, bypassing. I'm surrounded by guys, by the way,
wow,
who are like big brothers. So they come up to me and start talking to me and everything, trying to lead me away. And we're just like, nope, that's not gonna happen. Good day to you, sirs. Yeah, and it was only because I was wearing a Kingdom Hearts shirt. And it just felt like, yeah, Kingdom Hearts is like my favorite franchise of all time. That's fine. I could talk to you about like all of the plot holes in like 2 hours. But like it shouldn't, like, especially as a female, you shouldn't like saying earlier, it shouldn't be like a unicorn moment where it's like, that girl likes that because that girl is wearing that shirt, or that girl may not know, like, let's quiz her to see if she actually really knows what's on her shirt or what she actually is representing. And it's like, no, it's like, I'm a fan just like anybody else is. It shouldn't matter. And like during around that time, like I haven't really seen a lot of, you know, Black girls at conventions. So it was really rare when I did see some. I was like, oh yeah, there's more people that look like me that love the same thing that I like, and it's not weird, and it's not something new. You know, and last con was like Otakon, I think, was the last one that I ever went to, and like I again seeing like more and more cultures and like more and more people, you know, brown skinned people popping up, and it was just like, yay, good, they're coming out, as fans, and you know, they're coming out and enjoying it. And sometimes like I miss that. So yeah, that has really been my experience. It's kind of like, for me, I feel like I'm always in the in between like different stuff, and it's really like it's a weird place to be in, because I mean I've been doing this for like 10 plus years now, and it's like you feel comfortable, and it's like it's kind of like, okay, it is what it is, but kind of, you know, taking a step back on it, it's like, dang, this has been happening for a long time, and I'm just not really seeing it. It's like,
and it's really because we were in hiding, right?
Yeah.
It's not because we didn't exist.
Right.
I get it all the time. I mean, I'm pretty freaking light skinned, but I'm very mixed. So people who care to ask know that I am not white. Okay, so I put it that way. So I get it from all sides, and I get it a lot from Black people who they come to me and go, oh, only white people like that. You're not supposed to like that. Here going, so you're telling me that first I have to defend my geekdom from other geeks. I have to defend my female self being a female geek from male geeks. And now you're telling me I have to defend my Blackness in this space where at least with my fellow nerds, I should feel safe. Right. And it sucks. Can I stop being on the defensive for 5 minutes? Which is, that's why I'm very grateful that a lot more Black and brown people are in this space.
Yeah.
No more is that, well, you're Black, you can't like that.
Right. Exactly.
No, they're still saying it. I think we're just sure. Now. Yeah. I think we're more sure too, because like the issue I had was I grew up Afro-Latina, and Afro-Latina was not a thing, right?
It was not a thing.
So if you told Black people you were Afro-Latina, they were like, you just don't want to be Black, right? And then if you told your Latin family that you identified as a Black person, a lot of times that was taboo, and they didn't want to be associated with it because they associated being Black with negativity, with violence, with things like that. So then, Mija, what? Oh, you need sunscreen. You've been outside all day. You're getting so dark. Da, da, da. And I initially, it was that same thing, Lenore, where it was like I was confused about my Blackness and my culture and where I wanted to do, and then also confused about my Latin culture, and then got a lot of animosity there because I didn't see any Latin comic book characters, only Black ones. Definitely no America out there. Like I just saw her do. Y'all saw the new Wonder Girl? Oh my God, like just stuff like that I was like, I would never have seen a Wonder Girl with my skin color. You know, that's just crazy. And it's just confusion there that comes. So then what did I do? I read by myself and don't share it with other people. Exactly, because it was just easier to do.
Yeah, like hearing y'all stories, like I'm an Afro-Latina as well. And we had this discussion too with Latinx and Gaming. We had like a panel on that. Like hearing everybody, my experience kind of was like a bridge of like everything y'all just say. Because I grew up Hollis, Queens. It's the hood. It's the hood. Hollis, Queens is the hood. But I grew up residential in a house and everything. It just was like a mixture of the way the neighborhood was. But my family, like my grandmother, she is a geek. Like my grandmother is a geek. She speaks so eloquently. Like I learned so much from my grandma, my mom, and my dad. They got me actually into gaming. My grandma will look at it. She's a Trekkie, Battlestar Galactica, all of that. So I was like around it. So it wasn't so much taboo or different. And then the friends that I had in school, like they from the hood too, but they played video games and was collecting Pokemon. And we talk about Dragon Ball Z, the next arc that's about to come out. So it was like a mixture of everything. It was bringing up the culture that we had, that we was around, and also embracing that we were geeks at the same time. So it wasn't like, oh, is this more white oriented or is this Asian oriented? It was just that this is just stuff that we all kind of like together, and that's how we all became friends. So it was like a mixture of everything. And even like when you were speaking on being an Afro-Latina, I remember arguing with friends of mine. I was like, you're Black. Like, you're Black, you speak Spanish. So like, understand that you're Black and that Latino and Latina, that's not a race. That's an ethnicity. So like, I always would go back and forth. I was like, bro, we're Black. You know what I'm saying? We have some family, you know what I'm saying, that got dropped off at a different island. We all came from an origin, okay? We just didn't sprout out in these different islands out of nowhere.
Right,
so
exactly.
like we were brought over by conquistadors and stuff, you know what I'm saying? For whatever like It's just that we're all the same people. We just got dropped off at different stops. So I would have I would actually argue with friends about that all the time because they think that, you know, being Latino or Latina, that you have to look like this. I'm like, no, there's Black Latinas and Latinos, there's Asian Latinos and Latinas. Like, it's not a race. So I totally understand with that. But I guess I was just fortunate to actually have that. I didn't have to go through being that old just because I like video games and anime, that was considered being an Oreo or coconut or whatever, like anything like that.
Okay, that's good.
Y'all know about the coconut.
Yeah, I know coconut.
So, but yeah, I was fortunate enough to not feel that way, that stigma. Of course, being geeky with glasses and stuff like that would happen. I grew up as a tomboy and I wanted to do all the guys was doing. I thought it was cooler. So like, but yeah, it was just hearing y'all stories. I was like, wow, I didn't really have to go through that. Even though I did live in what's considered the hood, it was something that was accepted. You know, even when I was seeing how a lot of hip hop artists and like the Wu-Tang Clan, they are huge geeks. So like huge geeks and nerds. Or you got Jizza, astrophysicists up there.
I'm pretty separated from the rest of y'all, unfortunately, with that just by time, because I'm old enough to remember the Satanic Panic when they had the trials. Like that's when I got into gaming and comics. So I'm gonna say it. You youngins had it easier.
Yo, you think millennials too? It was tough in the 90s.
Oh yeah, because they were still trying to be the 80s, but had to realize, I know, really, the year 2000 is around the
corner. It was still pretty tough.
Yeah.
I was I was too much of a guy.
Oh,
yeah.
I wasn't into girly stuff. Like
I wasn't into girly stuff.
She's one of the guys.
Not
girlfriend.
Yeah.
I had Barbies. I played X-Men with my Barbie.
I had Barbies, me too. I had the Transformers with the Barbies and everything.
And with the Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
Yeah, I had all of
them in there. Yep.
That's a combo.
That's hilarious. You
got both. My old Nintendo system. I keep meaning to plug it in and see if it still works.
And we have to. I feel like we still, like millennials, we still have that work that Gen Z hasn't. They'll never have to do, right? Like I was just telling you,
the cutoff.
Gen X girl. So
I think that's the cutoff. Frankie is our era, like that. Yeah. Like of course the Gen X, of course, had it hard, and then we was in the middle of like kind of restructuring everything, and putting a definitive to it. And then like Gen Z is like, you know, I'm here.
Like, Gen Z is like, I don't give a
yeah. Like
they get to explore everything. You know, they get to say, explore their gender, explore their identity, explore. You can go to the store, put some overtone on, and try your hair 6 different colors and wash it out the next day. Like no, when I back in the day, if you wanted a mohawk, you committed to that.
Yes. And there was no hair care for naturals.
No color hair.
Yes. There was nothing for hair care either. Okay.
So
I had natural hair. No cremation, pink lotion. So my hair is normally curly like Ashley's. And now I know how to twist out and you know, I'm here living in my glory. But
got
I'm
my
like,
waves popping. You know what I'm saying? Isn't it?
You got on edge control. Ain't no edge control. Back in the day, we had to burn our legs. Exactly. So now, and that's some of it too. Like people were like, oh, but all of a sudden these geek girls are like all dolled up. I said, some of that is the time. Okay, because I was a geek girl that did have fucked up hair, but that's because there was no hair care for me.
It was. You better work it with some black gel if you could, but it's gonna crunch up and flake.
It's gonna crunch.
Like,
you do what you can.
Or put heat on it every time.
On your shoulders.
Yeah, heat.
There was no YouTuber to show me how to crochet braid. Are you shitting me? Like it was just totally. And even if there wasn't, the internet couldn't support it, right? Like I was on I was in the Rocks fan club when I was younger. And we had a forum online, and I had to schedule time with my mom and put it on the calendar on our fridge or she would be on the phone, and I couldn't do what I had to do. I couldn't talk. We couldn't talk on AIM, and she was on the phone. So I had to I would put it everywhere. I put it on the fridge. I put it by her bed. Mom, from 7 to 8, we talking on AIM. Please, no calls. Tell your friends. Da, 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 da. And I would have to tell her days in advance. They don't know that. They don't know how to do that.
They don't know about getting yelled at.
They can directly talk to The Rock on Instagram.
Yeah,
That's
which is the craziest thing. Like celebrities now can talk directly to the fans, and it's not like a big thing. It's super crazy now. Yeah. Kids in their flying machines and technology.
You just shake your cane and go, back in my day, we had our right to make a letter.
We used to go outside.
We had to rush home to watch that TV show. That was
Word.
Yeah, there was no DVR. There was no pause button on live television.
No.
Like,
you missed it.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
I get that from my kid all the time. It's like, why you take such fast showers? I'm like, because you learned how to take a shower during the commercial break. And
5 minutes is all you got.
When it came back on.
Yeah.
Factorials, for real. That brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah. The commercials running home. Toonami started at 4. School over at 3:30. What you doing to me?
Don't miss a day.
Teen Titans.
Yeah,
yes. Saturday morning WB.
Yo, and Sailor Moon was always first, and I used to get tight. I was like, ugh, school is over. I gotta sprint home.
Sailor Moon. Tenchi Universe.
Teen Titans and 106 in Park.
Yeah, and 106 in Park. But that came on after Toonami. That was like 6:30. So we had time to watch all of Toonami, get a snack, and then come back. 106 in Park was on.
The thing about it is like my parents, because they were like, so you can't watch cartoons and stuff during the week. So here's Animal Planet. Here's all like Discovery. Yeah, but it made me like really like science and stuff like that. And, like I know all of these random facts about animals and stuff that people look at me like, huh? How do you know that? It's like, thanks, Mom and Dad. But on the weekends, like on Friday evenings, like I remember, or no, Thursdays, they would let me watch wrestling. I remember that when I was little. So I remember watching wrestling. Fridays, Saturdays, they bought me the SpongeBob, the Krusty Krab tent. And because I'm not an outdoor kid, I just put it in front of my TV, climbed in with my blanket. Saturday morning, watch cartoons. Kids WB was on, all like watch cartoons throughout the whole night until sometimes until Adult Swim when I wasn't supposed to. But it's fine.
I'm glad my mom let me watch Adult Swim and all of that stuff. So I'm happy my mom wasn't restrictive. Like, I'm so happy. That's how I got into anime. My dad was watching Akira, and I forgot something else while he was watching. He was like, no, you have to leave, because I think it was like on some Madhouse tip. So I had to actually leave. But yeah, like it's just dope that the stuff we had to actually go through, we had to struggle in order to actually obtain it and look at or watch or play. Now kids could be like, yeah, I just access that. Like they got Netflix, they got Disney Plus. Man, I remember when I had the trials of Disney, the Disney package we had like for 14 days or a month, and it got
cut off. Changing your cable service.
Yeah.
Black box. New York, we had the black box.
Yeah. I remember like actually catching my kid's browser one time, and there was at least 50 different tabs open for different sites that have uploads. Anime, totally legal, of course. And so these kids these days, I can't find my anime on Crunchyroll, so I'm just gonna pirate it from some random website.
Kiss Anime, oh my god!
5 or 6
in the day.
This anime came through. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Was clutch. Was clutch.
Clutch in college days. I was like, yo, I cannot afford what?
I remember downloading anime through like what, LimeWire?
Yes. Give me your computer age.
I made all my
You said, I know it's going to tear up my computer, but I got to see this.
I'm sure, not a giant Trojan that will destroy my computer.
Yo, facts. You say game computer?
Because you knew it. You're a computer. You're like, damn, RIP. But I gotta see History of Trunks. I gotta download this.
Yes, I need the new Rurouni Kenshin OVA. I need it.
Word, because you couldn't get the OVAs any other way. What?
No,
There wasn't a way. Yeah,
That's
unless
how
you
you.
pay
That's how you
$60 for
learn
an import.
stuff. You're like, I can learn Portuguese. It's fine. I should do that.
Oh, guys, that's good.
Oh, so I want to get into another topic before we close out, though. So I wanted to get into the oversexualization of females in comics, gaming, and cosplay. Anything you guys want to touch on? I know Red Infamy, you mentioned sometimes it was like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like a certain type. Like people typically would think of like sexy white and Asian girls as the forefront for gaming. And it's like, I want to ask you, because I know a lot of female gamers, like gamers of color, that don't necessarily do lewd or fresh cosplays. And they're scared to get into gaming because they feel like no one will support them. They're like, oh, I'm not like the trendy, attractive girl who shows her tits. Like, how do I love gaming, but how do I get into streaming?
Like I don't knock the women who do, do that or whatever, as long as, because I mean, a lot of those characters, period, that's how they look. Even a lot of different female characters, they may be over sexualized because that's how they were actually made to look. We see, for example, Kill la Kill, like.
Yeah, it's literally.
And then they'll call it a feminist show.
Yeah, fan service is the point, kind of.
Yeah, fan service is like I get it, I get it, and I'm the word. No, I'm not knocking it, but as far as the women who don't, they want to kind of maybe change it, and if they want to change something about the character, that's what's so great about cosplaying. You can alter it the way you want to perceive and make the perception of that character as being a fan of it. It's all about cosplaying the character. We even see it, of course, from ethnicity swaps, gender swaps, all kind of things. And I think it's really cool. As far as them getting into gaming, as I say, for anybody from cosplaying to whatever, the core thing is being yourself. You being you, period. It's the most cliche thing, but just being you. Even me being a on-field reporter in front of the cameras, I always stuck to just being me. Like, I love that I'm from New York. I love that I can still articulate and still have my New York accent at the same time. I'm not going to code switch. Like, you're just going to take me for who I am and as I am on some Mary J. Blige tip. Like, you're just going to just take me for me. And I always say, just be you and have that energy and passion. If you're passionate about playing the games that you want to play and sharing your excitement with an audience, then that's the fun. And whatever comes after that, from whatever you claim as success, it will come. But it's all about the passion. I don't care if I have a donut in my stream to 100 and something. Like, it's just me having fun and people seeing my passion and fun for the game. And it's like they're kicking it with me. So whatever your niche is, whatever you want to have, let's say you want to just stream role-playing games, or you want to cosplay while you're streaming, that's dope too. I see that a lot. I love, tapping into streams where people are cosplaying whatever they're playing. Go ahead for it. And anybody that's gonna hate, just know you're doing something right because they hate. Because if you're not hating, so like, you know what I'm saying? So tune out the haters. People are gonna always have something to say because they don't have it. They don't have it. They talking about you. You don't know them. So they a fan. I just look at all the haters as fans. You're still talking about me. So like, at the end of the day, and they can learn something, and you don't have to stoop to their level at all. Just go in there, be confident, and just like how you're confident in your artistry of cosplaying, project that in your streams and just be you.
I found myself when I started my page, going out of my way to try to desexualize myself, to thinking it will increase validity what I was saying, and that I don't know. I thought guys would take me more seriously, and if I wore like oversized T-shirts and stuff like that, I wouldn't be sexualized. And then I found out that wasn't true. They don't give a fuck. If you are a woman presenting and they find you attractive in any way, it doesn't matter if my tits are out or not. And it was
like that old story about Marilyn Monroe in the potato sack.
Yeah, but it's nah, but she looked fire in that potato sack. Let's not.
She could not look ugly.
Yeah. She looked fire in that potato sack. But it was a very interesting thing that I learned, that I thought, okay, I'm going to start this page, but if I'm going to be here critiquing, for them to listen, I have to cover myself up. And then I realized they still was like, show me your feet, girl shit. I don't know what that is about this community.
Foot fetish is becoming more
if you're gonna do it, charge money.
Right, hello? And then it became something different. But I realized like it didn't matter. It did not matter if I was being sexualized. And that's what they've been taught, to see us as an object. Every character, even the ones we respect, Storm, Jean Grey, if they are not in liquid, if they're not in liquid latex, they're in the bathing suit. Fighting crime.
Swimsuit issues back in the day. Jeez.
Yo, they used to do swimsuit issues of the characters.
Yep.
And I'm like,
comment cards.
Yeah, this is an Omega level mutant who has celestial power, and she in a swimsuit? You shitting me? I ain't never seen Cyclops in those. You know what I'm saying?
That may come sooner than you think. So any artists out there,
Nightwing dress.
Nightwing, yeah, and they did do it to Gambit. Gambit and Nightcrawler. That's his thing. That's Gambit's thing, though, right? Yes. He was like, he's gross and like, let me show you my stuff.
Gambit's a freak. He's a freak.
Yeah. So that doesn't count. But yeah, definitely, it was a hard lesson to learn. Yeah. But now I get to feel I could be girlier. You know what I mean? I was afraid to embrace it because I thought it would separate from strength or anything. And then I was like, fuck y'all. And to your point, Red Infamy, your haters will know. My haters will know about my first video and cite word for word. And I'd be like, yo, my fans don't know that. I'd be like, you on my Patreon? You paying me? And you hate me? Oh, all right.
Right. Exactly.
They're still fans. They're still talking about you. They're still looking at what you're gonna looking at what you're doing. It's just that they want something from you that they don't have, but they actually are congratulating you at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. I was gonna say, like, it's different to give like compliments and then to come off like a simp or like a scary perv. Like, especially like if you're in cosplay, like they'll be like, oh, you're so beautiful, whatever. But when I'm literally like wearing like a men's t-shirt and holding up a book, like stop saying like, oh, you're so pretty or you're so hot. You're so like, I'm fucking talking about like a character getting their head shot. Like, yes. Out with this, I've legit had men be like, oh, I want you to review my comic. And I'm like, oh, dope. And they're like, so let's meet here for wine or you can come see my studio. I'm like, nah, you can send me a PDF though. And then like 3-4 times, dude would keep emailing me like, "Oh, like when do you want to get a drink?"
That's the OD part.
It's not a date. Like this is work.
I was about to say like it would be different if somebody was like, I like you for your content, but also too, I really think like if they went it that way instead of using what you have.
Yeah, don't try to be slick.
Right, exactly.
Sometimes that's annoying too, because they'll say that all my comments. They'll be like, yeah, you make a really valid point here, Frankie, but also what's going on with your lips? And I'm like,
right.
What? Hey, like that's a great point you made in your last interview. Why don't you take off your shirt so we can talk about it?
Right. And I'm like, why? And then they're like, I was just complimenting you. I think you're beautiful. I'm like, you did it together. Yeah. Or my favorite is when they say they'll tell you that they get equally sexualized, and I'm like, if you don't shut up and get out my
no one's coming to your stream on Resident Evil Village and saying, wait, but can you take your dick out?
Yeah.
Right.
Saying that.
They'll screenshot something from like Michael B. Jordan of like a woman wilding in his live. I'm like, so you getting Michael B. Jordan? That's what you getting? Because we all
see Michael B. Jordan right now, bro. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah, especially working wise. Working wise, that's happened to me too. And I had to tell people, listen, I don't know what you got out of the situation. Thank you for admiring me. You know, women don't. This is the thing. Women don't front like you don't like to hear compliments. What I'm saying is like, it's one thing to you're trying to circle and ease it into like, you know, let's make this into a date. Like I've gone through that business wise, and I'm like, dude, I get it. So like what I'm saying is that this is business and this is work. I'm not interested. How we went from talking about, you know, this overlay or this whole outline that we're supposed to do business wise, and then you talking about, yeah, I'm really interested in it. I want you to be my girlfriend. What? How did this jump from this? Damn, it wasn't even accorded. Like, no, this is business wise. So I do get that. And a lot of men don't understand when that does happen to a lot of us women in the different industries that we have. Even like the cosplayers, just because a cosplayer is dressing up a certain way does not mean that means touch me. So like
it happens to the guys too.
This says touch. Yeah. Same thing with guys. Just because his shirt is off does not mean you gonna try to touch his nipple.
What are they wearing? Is it oil on them? They want it.
I mean,
they want it.
It depends on how they are in the character. If they're method acting.
Yeah, guys get, you know, the touchy thing too with cosplay. You mean other guys like whoa. So like, you know, they don't want to be, but that's something wrong. Like, of course, you're not supposed to be touching anybody just because how they're cosplaying or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that does come up a lot. Just like when Nadia was saying and Frankie too, on like, yo, you can say, okay, yo, you look beautiful, boom, boom, boom. Cool, but don't try to ease it in when somebody is specifically saying this one thing. And you gotta go ahead and say your compliment, and then just like what you were saying, Ashley, you know what I'm saying? Talk about what was the subject at hand.
Right, exactly. Separate work from your own own emotions.
Because then it gets awkward.
That's not what you're here for. That's
It's not Tinder. I tell people that all the time. This is not Tinder. This is my business page, LLC. I'm trying to make cheese. And you talk to me about the way I look, it gets me. I was like, how would you feel? Which they all say I wouldn't care. If you're giving a presentation at work and your boss is like, stop right there. You look great. You know, you're like,
continue. Yeah.
I bust my ass on this presentation. Why are you talking about the way
they say they don't care unless it's someone they don't want to hear it from. So if it's somebody they don't want to hear it from, then we're like, wait a minute, why are you know, let's say they're a straight dude and they're doing a presentation, but then their boss is a guy. Wait, stop right there. Did you see how you moisturized your lips and how it's just glistening right now?
What at me?
Like,
I can
tell. Those statistics and you bit your lip. That was hot.
Right.
Like imagine that.
And they don't realize the fear that comes with that, right? Like, I said this, I made a video, Nadia was talking, that's what she was referring to, where I talk about it. Like, you guys are sexualizing us and you're sending us these messages, and it's disturbing for people like Nadia and I, where we're doing appearances. Now we know you know where to find us, and you're sending these sexual messages, and I'm going to be in a space that I know you could be at. That's terrifying. And I think that's where the separate is. Yeah.
One would pop up. It's like, how do I see you at New York Comic Con around 100,000 fucking people, and like you just keep bumping into me? Like it's not
because they're following your story to see where you're blocking. And it's never. Let me tell you, whenever I've had a couple guys like follow me in a con or something where it's weird, and it's never no 5'2", 110-pound guy. It's always that nerd guy with the neck beard. Word to Lenora, that we got. It's like 6'3" and like overweight, and you're like,
that's why I roll with a whole bunch of dudes. Yeah. And if you try something, it's not gonna be pretty at all.
It's usually the type of person who you could probably beat in a foot race, but you can't overpower.
Yes. Exactly that. Yeah. But now we cornered in this space. Yeah. That's filled up. Well, not anymore.
Like if there was a straightaway where you can run, you could go, and they're not gonna catch you because they can't run.
Yeah.
So he's basically
They're like
Jason. He
300
basically,
pounds
Yeah.
of strength holding on to you.
basically Jason.
But depending
you
where
gotta
you
go.
go,
I'm sorry, Ashley.
depending
Gotta
on
go.
where you
Excuse
go,
me.
it's like, oh, okay, I can take them. You know what I mean? But you're like, they know
See,
themselves.
Get you at your knees and then just go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not cool. It's mad creepy. It's awkward, and you look mad desperate, and the thirst is too real. Like you can admire somebody, but you're following them, and yeah, that's not cool. Like you're following them. Like I had like a online stalker with video games, and it was like, and I was like, yo, and even if you, because I don't know how weird it is, you see this right now, you get worked. like just like for real, like period. Yeah, like it's awkward and weird. Like it's really weird. And you know, some guys be like, but you know, you a woman, and if you're attractive or whatever, guys, I get that. But when you're making something awkward, like you being overly awkward, come on, that's just not cool. It's not
And it's
cool
also
at
your
all.
job.
Like commenting, I want to kiss you, like on all your posts. Like my dude, I don't even follow you. I don't know your fucking name.
That's say to no. That has to be that's
cool.
a block. That's
And
a
it's
block.
also your job because and you also have to feel bad because you think they're probably doing this to other women at their job as well. Like they're hitting on
That's crazy.
Whose paycheck depends on not flipping out and screaming at you to shut up. Because I work all the time. It's like, because you're a librarian, really? I'm like, can you please? This is not a porn, and this is my
the hell.
This is not the place. This is why would you do this?
The scary thing is that at least at a job, there's HR. With us and what we do digitally.
At a traditional job, I can and they can't come in.
We don't have any protection.
But at the internet, that's 24/7 access to your brain, basically.
Yeah.
Renting space in your head all the time.
Yeah.
They don't seem to understand that your existence is not for their pleasure. That is not your job. That is not our responsibility.
Facts.
Wait, for real?
To be hit on all the time.
We don't exist for men? Let me take this shit down then.
You need to get women too. Don't hit on me either. Equal opportunity, leave me alone.
But yeah, like that gets too weird and crazy. But yeah, that is the scary part, is that what we do digital wise as digital media personalities is that we don't have any protection on people that want to harass us online. And then that online turns into like what y'all was saying at cons that y'all have to show up in person. Thank God I never ran into anything like that. Cause they have to get thrown out. But yeah, even when I'm there covering on, the show floor, I don't want, that's kind of like another reason too why I never really like vlog so much on everything I was doing, because I just would never know what weird person, but I always have somebody that person would take care of that person. Like
that, and that's why that's why I'm always like, I don't really show my face on the internet that much, like almost at all. Like I have a LinkedIn. That's where you can find me. So, really. But
Ashley on LinkedIn.
No, I'm serious. Go ahead. That's no problem. But I think because I was thinking about starting my own Twitch stream. I was thinking about it. I don't know if I'm going to, but we'll see. But it's like one of those things where it's like you're afraid of the backlash, but then you're also afraid of the response. So you're afraid of what will people say here? What will people, what people will not say, but will say like on another blog, or will say behind your back. Okay, so there's this. So now I have to account for, okay, so I need some mods in order to block that person so that won't happen. I need to make sure that there's some safety measures in place that, I can protect myself, and then also other people in the community, because a lot of the times too, that trolls come onto any type of social networking and not only harassing you, but harassing the people that are supporting you.
Yeah.
And so you're just now you're mama bear, and you're just like, whoa, that's not what this is for. You can go to OnlyFans if you want to have your own personal fantasy, and you can pay them a lot more and still get the same content if you want to. But yeah, so like I've always been kind of like iffy with like doing like Twitch streams or something like that. YouTube I'm kind of okay with, but it's just really my voice that's being spoken to. So like the anonymity of that, but then that's also can be a little bit terrifying because people have a fantasy about what you look like based on your voice. And then when you see that person, when they see you in person, they may have like a really like over dramatic reaction, or they may just like go ahead and just like blurt out the first thing that comes out of the mouth, which is not necessarily the nicest thing when they first say. So
husband.
yeah, yes. So I'm always kind of afraid of that. And then also too, like I wanted to get into cosplay a lot more, but like, you know, hearing stories, especially about women in color who, you know, say like people are saying like, well, you can't be this person because this person's white, or you can't play this character because this person's technically Asian. So that means I have to stick with Yoruichi from Bleach all the time. Like that doesn't make.
Yeah, that's why I love the Hanada's black today.
Yeah,
black today.
Black today. But
actually,
it's needed. Like everything you're saying that is making you're like, my voice is important. The way you look is just as important as your voice. And it's what makes your voice important. You know what I mean? Like your opinion is as obviously valid, and I get your fears. We need you on Twitch. We need you in those cosplays because they're always going to say it unless we out here with our faces unapologetically
unapologetic
saying fuck y'all respectfully.
Respectfully.
If
I've always been afraid to show my face.
Because
of my age, I'm not gonna lie.
Right,
girl,
you do not. We grown. Everybody's 30 and above here. You know what I'm saying?
We do not look old.
And have you noticed? And if you notice, the content is no longer for children. When we grew up, anime and comic books were made for kids. No longer is the case. The biggest anime of this year so far has been Attack on Titan. Ain't not one kid on that. You can't. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. It's shit for us now. So, and it's because they grew up. Even black. I can't get my nephew to watch Captain America and the Winter Soldier. He can't watch that. He don't get it. The themes are too it's violent. Dope. Yeah, and the same thing for WandaVision. And I think, we just got to be out here. Age, race, gender, however you look, you need to show that there's a community. It's like when you first go to college and you're like, oh shit, there's more like me, because I was the only one in my area.
Yes.
Like yeah, you know
that's what I
my whole life.
But Ashley, you could be Ashley. There's so many women like you. There are so many women who are around all white people. Who I play softball, girl. I know the vibes. You know what I'm saying? I know the vibes. But there are people who connect with you because you're like, and I felt that way too, where it's like I was around a lot of black people, but I grew around a lot of white people too. And that duality clashes and was really hard to find a space that was both, Remy Ma and Avril Lavigne. I need where is that duality? And Ashley, you can make that.
I think
space.
that's the breath of like a fresh air anyway, is like being that bridge, like seeing both. Like, I grew up, I'm listening to Mobb Deep, I'm also listening to Linkin Park. Like I grew up with all of that. Like, so it's needed. It's something that exists. It's people that do exist like that. Even like your drama background, I think is so fascinating and dope, and like even connecting more with the younger kids that look like us, that are Black and Hispanic, to be interested, like, I never knew. Like kids would be like, I never knew. But your voice is needed. I remember a good friend of mine, she's a developer, and she was like, she would go online and didn't even want to, even present that she was even a woman, because she just knew of all the backlash she would get. And I was like, girl, I'd be up strong in those Call of Duty lobbies, trolling mad people back and forth. But everybody didn't grow up like that. So I get it. Everybody didn't have the tux. I was the only girl around a whole bunch of boy cousins. So I had to have the clapbacks ready all the time when they would tease me. But a lot of people didn't grow up like that, and I understand. But the beautiful thing about today, and of course, even what Gen Z is doing, they are being fearless and being themselves and being creative. That's what I love about the new generation, is that they're not really second guessing it. They're just going out and doing it because they've seen what we've done.
Right.
They've seen the stuff that we've done. They've seen the stuff that we've experienced and went through. And they're being very unapologetic right now. They just need some more. Yeah, and it's our jobs too to just inform them on certain things and guide them, just like how people before us did. But I love how I see so many women like all of you now, and I get to see y'all. I get to relate with y'all, and people that's younger than us can get to say, "Hey, I'm just like you." I go through the same thing. I have somebody I can relate to. I could put a face to and a voice to. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about the information age, is that just like what we're doing right now, we're all wonderful women talking to each other, and we come from so many different, walks of life in our experiences, but we have one common thing that we're able to talk about. And I think that's the beauty in it. So I would definitely love and can't wait for you to stream whatever you want to stream. And I'm going to be right there up in there like, what?
We'll come and we'll roast them. All you got to do is say the word. You do not want too hard. You from Harlem, right?
Oh, me?
The Bronx, yeah.
I'm from Queens.
Queen, you said Hollis. Still dangerous. We will come in your chat room and just sife. No hands.
Y'all will be my mods. I would love you guys.
Back. Yeah. You'll be your mods. People like,
I'll be like, Ben, respectfully.
Respectfully.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm here to support all of y'all. I'm here to support all of y'all. And yeah, we need that. And if you have a fair, that's what sisterhood is about. We're supposed to lean on one another. And I don't know if y'all look at the Black Lady sketch show, but the latest episode was a friend. She gasses her friends too much or whatever. Yeah. But y'all definitely look at the episode. But that's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to lean on one another. And if we having doubts, how can we fill that void to make sure you're comfortable? That's what's needed.
Right. Exactly.
I think definitely too, like, especially like with our days, like you were saying, like, we didn't really have most of my friends are guys. Like, I didn't really have like girlfriends that was into this shit back in the day. So it's like now, like, meeting more and more females that are legit into this stuff. It's like, it's fun, and we want to push each other. Sisterhood.
Right.
Anything else you girls want to say? And plug yourselves too. Plug yourself in.
All right.
Buy my books.
Yeah, buy your books. Yes. I don't got no books. I'm not published, but if y'all are tired of the way media is treating your favorite comic book and anime characters, come to Fantastic Frankey. That's what we love to do. I love to complain. I love to debate.
She's a debate queen.
Yes, I will. But yes, be ready to get read if you're wild. Fantastic Frankey, Frankey. Unless you're on Twitter, they won't let me be great. I'm Fanboy Fighter on there. Yeah, it's a
love that handle.
Thank you. I could not believe it wasn't trademarked or anything when I pulled it up. And I was like, that's how I know we're not up in the space yet. Because it was so easy for me to pull it on everything. I was like, yes,
that's how I started my blog, because I was like, no one, of course somebody has this already. And I picked it up and I picked literaryloon.com. Because I read anything, everything, and I don't care. Like, I'll read a kid's comic. I'll read Chaucer in Middle English for fun. I don't care. But that's where I put all my weird thoughts about my writing. Literaryloon.com. I knew it was
literaryloon.com.
Yep. Because I'm crazy and I love words.
That's fire. Oh boy.
Yeah, I put everything on there. You can ignore the weight loss stuff. We don't want to talk about that.
Because I need to listen. This quarantine weight got to go. So listen, you guys.
I was one of the few freaks who lost weight during quarantine because I was so stressed out. I would run for an hour every day, or I would.
Wow.
I lost great. 10 pounds. I gained it back when I went back to work.
That's funny.
Here all day.
Yo, I've been boxing. Yeah, I just lost it. I just lost the weight. And I did a video. I took a picture for this like anime brand that wanted me to model for them in like March. And they asked me to take a picture in like this bodysuit front and back.
Yeah.
And I took it and I was like, fuck, who is that?
Yeah.
So then instantly I hit that gym. I got a trainer. I was like, oh my God. So
facts. I'm like, yo, nah. I'm like, nah,
Zombies
Ray.
Run. It's so much fun. Zombies Run is fun. I love it.
Well, sis gotta get on some Zombies Run because this weight gotta go. This quarantine weight. But
and it's easy to lose it because we're all streaming here. How I know I'm fat from here? Look at me. How I know? So it was the first time I stood up, and I was like, "Oh my God!" That's why I'm.
You know what else I got? I got one of those pedal bikes with a desk on the front, so I can put on it, and I'm pedaling while I'm on typing my books. So.
Nah, you can't stream with all that. There's 5 buttons.
No, you can't stream. No, I wouldn't recommend streaming with that. No, but if you're like doing a blog post or editing or something like that, that's perfect because you put the laptop right on it.
Yeah, Red got to get back. Like somebody was like, Red, you gained weight? Somebody said, Red, you gained weight? I was like, yes, I did. Duh.
Get out my mentions, please. You said duh. Everybody was making bread. How we not going to gain weight making bread? Yeah,
exactly.
I couldn't find any yeast. Everybody took all the yeast, so I did not make any bread. That's probably another reason why I lost weight. All y'all panic buying everything. Damn bag of flour. I couldn't find any yeast.
The bread, the beans and rice gotta go.
Yeah, facts.
She said, damn.
I didn't even send it to her. I said, look, hit me up in a couple months. Let's see.
Yo, yeah, I was looking at some pictures. I was like, nah.
She was like, I do all sizes. I was like, it's not about that.
Yeah,
it's not. I'm sure.
That's not the point.
That's even worse.
This ain't me. Right.
Putting salt into your wound. Like you don't say that. Like, so are you confirming?
Yeah.
No, she was saying it because I said like, sis, I'm way too fat to be on this right now.
Yeah.
And then she was like, no, this is all inclusive. Yeah. She was like, don't even trip, just send the photo. I said, nah, I can't.
My
you think this is Fantastic Frankey?
Okay.
No, because the plus size models is not looking like this now.
They don't look like this. They got their waist is still snatched. Don't play with me.
Their waist is still snatched, but they got everything else in size 22. Listen, nah. It's not happening. Not going to
line me up like that, sis. Because you inclusive. You gonna wait.
A Geek Girls workout podcast.
You should. Well, there is one. Geek Fitness, Geek Girl Fitness.
I follow her on Instagram.
Yeah, she's good.
Geek Girl Strong. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Those arms, I can't even. Amazing.
Ash, how about
that
you?
Was me.
Well, I kind of been MIA from the site. I'm planning on coming back soon with some stuff. So you can find me on Otakus and Geeks, as Anime Angel always. Let's see. Because I'm a drama teacher, I'm trying to get my high school's drama thing up and ready. We didn't have a show this year because of COVID and everything like that. So next year we got our 2 shows and I'm excited about it. So like in the spring, we're going to do a chorus line, which is exciting. And the fall play is called Bad Auditions by Bad Actors. So that's really fun to do. But yeah, just catch us on our Twitter. We're basically all over the place at Otakus and Geeks. So you can catch us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't think LinkedIn, but I mean, that could be a thing. And just kind of like getting inspiration from you ladies. I'm thinking about doing an Otakus and Geek Twitch account. So
do it.
I like to hear.
So I'm gonna be just planning that out and seeing how that goes. As far as I know, like especially with scheduling, because I am working and stuff like that, I'm not going to be like a frequent streamer, and I'm not going to promise 10 out of 10 content, but I am going to promise you a good time. So that's the only thing I can. That's the only thing I can do. If you
ever need an old lady to stream with you, I got you.
You're not an old lady though. Stop it. Stop it.
Do Otakus and Geeks drunk gaming. It'd be great.
Oh no.
I'll
get drunk of cider. I'll do that. I'm not much of a drinker. I'll do like it looks like champagne, but it's actually like grape juice and stuff, and you can get different flavors. I can do that.
Not even a White Claw? Come on. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe one.
I'm kidding.
Maybe one. But yeah, so tune into that soon. That may be coming out maybe soon. I don't know. But I do want to plan more to do more articles in the summertime. Now that when school's out and done, I'll be free. So that's just me. And I guess you can find me on LinkedIn if you can find me. But please don't message me any creepy stuff. Don't ask me for like I can be your agent. Please don't do that. That's for like jobs and things like that. If you got a job for me that I can do, let me know. Hit me up there. But please, if any heart emojis come up, if anything starts with the letter D, as in I'm nope. Bye.
And hammer.
Done. Hammer. Ban hammer.
All right. Well, it was amazing having you ladies on. Thank you so much for everybody for watching the ladies edition episode of Otakus and Geeks. And stay tuned for more.